Maya arrived in the city early, before the streets became loud. The sky was pale and clean, and the tall buildings looked like glass towers holding the morning light. She had flown in the night before and slept only a few hours, but she did not feel tired. This meeting mattered to her, and she had learned long ago that important days needed a clear mind. Maya was an investor, but not the kind people expected. She did not chase quick wins. She did not post her life online. She read reports, studied trends, and listened more than she spoke. When she decided to support a company, she stayed for the long road. She liked building, not just buying. She checked her watch, then looked at the address again. The building in front of her was new and shiny. A wide lobby opened behind tall doors. Inside, the floor was polished stone, and the air smelled like fresh paint and expensive coffee. A security guard stood near a desk, watching people come and go. Maya walked in, showed her ID, and gave her name. The guard glanced at a list and nodded. A visitor badge printed with a soft beep. "Elevator on the right," he said. His voice was normal, not warm but not cold either. Maya thanked him and clipped the badge to her jacket. She crossed the lobby calmly. She had practiced calm for years, not because she was afraid, but because she understood how people watched. When you entered spaces where you were not expected, every step could become a test. Maya did not want to waste energy on proving she belonged. She already knew she did. The elevator ride felt quiet. Soft music played from a hidden speaker. Maya looked at her reflection in the mirrored wall. Her hair was neat, her face steady, her eyes focused. She held a thin folder, not thick with papers. Most of the information she needed was already in her mind. Her phone buzzed once. It was a message from her analyst, Nina. "Morning. One more reminder, Horizon Tech is running on tight cash. Their big expansion depends on funding in the next few weeks." Maya replied with a short note. "Understood. I will handle it." The elevator opened on the top floor. A clean hallway stretched out, with framed photos on the wall. Some showed the company's product. Some showed the CEO speaking at events, smiling, standing in bright light. A receptionist sat behind a white desk. She looked up quickly, then smiled. "You must be Maya Reed." "Yes," Maya said. "We have you scheduled at 9:30. They're finishing the previous meeting. Can I offer you water or coffee?" "Water is fine," Maya said. The receptionist handed her a glass bottle. Maya took it and sat in a waiting chair near a window. From there, she could see the city below. Cars moved like small dots between buildings. People hurried on sidewalks. The world was busy, and no one down there knew that a quiet decision might be made in this room today. Maya did not come for attention. She came for clarity. Horizon Tech was a company that made smart energy parts for large buildings. Their product reduced waste and saved money. They had a strong idea and strong engineers. But they also had a weak foundation. Their growth was faster than their planning. Their cash flow was thin. Their next expansion depended on outside support. Maya was interested because she saw real value. The product worked. The market was ready. The company had a chance to become a leader. But leadership required discipline, and she was not sure if the CEO understood that. The door to the meeting room opened. Several people walked out in suits, talking in low voices. A tall man with gray hair laughed at a comment. A woman with a tablet nodded and waved goodbye. A younger man looked stressed and checked his phone. Maya watched them, not judging, just observing. Then she saw Laura. Laura Grant, the CEO, was in her early 40s, with sharp eyes and a strong smile that came and went like a switch. Her suit was perfect. Her posture was confident. She moved as if the space belonged to her. Laura stood at the door and shook hands with the people leaving. "Thank you for coming," she said. "We'll follow up next week." Her tone was friendly but controlled, like a person trained to sound warm while keeping distance. As the last person left, Laura turned back inside for a moment, then stepped out again. Her assistant followed her, whispering something. Laura nodded without looking fully at the assistant. Her eyes moved across the hallway, and they landed on Maya. For a second, Laura's face did not change, but her eyes narrowed slightly, as if she was sorting a detail in her mind. Then she walked toward Maya. "Maya Reed," Laura said. "Yes," Maya replied, standing up. Laura stopped a step away. She did not smile. She did not frown. She simply looked at Maya as if Maya was an unexpected item on a list. "I have 10 minutes, Laura said. "Let's make it quick." Maya nodded. "That works." Laura turned toward the meeting room. "Come in." Maya followed her inside. The room was bright, with a long table and clean chairs. A screen on the wall showed a company logo. A pitcher of water sat near the center. Everything looked prepared for important conversations. Laura sat at the head of the table. She placed her phone beside her like a tool she might need at any moment. Maya chose a chair across from her. She placed her folder on the table but did not open it yet. She wanted to read the room first. Laura leaned back slightly. "So," she said, "you're interested in Horizon Tech." "I'm interested in the product," Maya said. "I'm also interested in how you plan to grow." Laura gave a short laugh, not rude, but not kind either. "We plan to grow fast. That's the point." Maya kept her tone even. Fast growth can be good. It can also break things if the base is weak. Laura's eyes flashed. "Our base is not weak." Maya nodded slowly. "I hope that's true. I've reviewed your last 2 quarters. The product is strong. The demand is real. But your spending is high. Your timelines are tight. Your next expansion is expensive." Laura's expression stayed firm. "That's why we raise money. That's how business works." Maya looked at her carefully. She had met many leaders like Laura. Leaders who believed confidence could replace planning. Leaders who saw questions as attacks. "I'm not here to slow you down," Maya said. "I'm here to understand whether a partnership would be smart for both sides." Laura glanced at Maya's folder. "You brought a folder. That's cute." Maya did not react. She had heard worse. She simply opened the folder and slid 1 page forward. "This is a summary," Maya said. "Not a lecture. It highlights risk points and solutions." Laura did not reach for it. She looked at it like it was something she did not want on her table. "My team already has solutions," Laura said. "I'm sure they do," Maya replied. "I'm offering support, not control." Laura's phone buzzed. She glanced at it and tapped the screen. She did not apologize. Maya waited. Silence stretched for a moment, then Laura looked up again. "Let's talk numbers," Laura said. "How much are you thinking?" Maya kept her voice calm. "I don't talk numbers until I see respect for the process. I also want to meet your operations lead and your finance lead." Laura frowned. "That's not how we do it here. We meet, we decide, and we move." Maya smiled slightly, not to tease, but to soften the air. "That works when a company is stable. You are not stable yet. Not because you are failing. Because you are growing too fast." Laura's eyes hardened. "Are you calling my company unstable?" "I'm calling it early," Maya said. "Early companies need careful steps." Laura stood up suddenly. The chair moved back with a short scrape. "Listen," she said. "I have built this company from nothing. People like you come in, ask for extra meetings, slow things down, and then act like you're doing us a favor." Maya remained seated. Her voice stayed steady. "Funding is not a favor. It's a partnership. And partnerships need trust." Laura's jaw tightened. "Trust is earned." Maya nodded. "I agree." Laura took a breath and forced her face into something close to polite. "Fine. We can schedule another meeting with the finance lead. But I'm telling you now, we will not accept anyone trying to run our business. Maya stood up slowly. That's fair. I'm not here to run it. I'm here to see if it's worth supporting. Laura looked at Maya again, up and down, quick and cold. Maya had seen that look before. It was the look that tried to measure a person without learning anything real about them. Maya extended her hand. It was a normal gesture. A simple ending to a first meeting. A signal that whatever happened next would be handled with professionalism. Laura stared at Maya's hand. Time slowed in a strange way. The room felt suddenly too quiet. Even the air felt still. Laura did not take the hand. Instead, Laura turned her body slightly, as if the gesture was not there. She picked up her phone. She tapped the screen again. Then she looked past Maya toward the door. My assistant will walk you out, Laura said. Maya's hand remained in the air for one more second. Then she lowered it calmly. Her face did not show anger. It did not show shock. It showed something quieter. Understanding. Maya gathered her folder. She kept her movements smooth and controlled. The assistant appeared at the door, smiling in a nervous way. This way, the assistant said. Maya nodded. Thank you. She walked out of the meeting room without looking back. In the hallway, the receptionist avoided Maya's eyes for a moment, then looked up with a small, uncertain smile. Maya returned a polite nod. She did not blame the receptionist. People in offices learned quickly when to look and when not to. The elevator doors opened. Maya stepped inside alone. As the elevator moved down, Maya stared at the numbers changing above the door. She did not replay the scene with loud anger. She did not think of sharp words to say. She did not imagine revenge. She simply felt the weight of the moment. Not because her pride was hurt, but because she knew what that refusal meant. It was not only a personal choice. It was a message. A decision made in a second that revealed a bigger truth about how Laura saw people. Maya exhaled slowly. She remembered her father's advice from years ago. Never beg to be respected, he had said. But never ignore disrespect either. Learn from it. The elevator reached the lobby. Maya walked out and handed the visitor badge back to the guard. The guard barely looked at her. Maya stepped outside into the light. The city noise felt louder now. Cars honked. People talked. A man pushed a cart of coffee cups. Life kept moving like nothing happened. Maya walked toward a quiet bench near the building entrance and sat for a moment. She opened her phone and called Nina. Nina answered quickly. How did it go? Maya paused before speaking. The product is good. That's great, Nina said. And the CEO? Maya looked up at the building. The top floor windows reflected the sky. The CEO is a risk. Nina was silent for a second. What kind of risk? Maya chose her words carefully. A risk that can destroy a company from the inside. A risk that shows up in small moments. Nina understood. Do you want me to prepare a report for the committee? Yes, Maya said. But not only a report. I want options. Quiet options. Nina's voice turned serious. Understood. Should I also alert the partner group? Maya thought about Laura's face, the quick dismissal, the way the hand had been ignored like it was nothing. Yes, Maya said. But keep it professional. No drama. No insults. Just facts. Got it, Nina said. Anything else? Maya looked at the folder on her lap. Inside were notes and numbers, but also something more. A map of connections. A list of partners. A view of how money moved in this industry. One more thing, Maya said. Check their expansion partner. I want to know how solid that relationship is. I'll do it, Nina replied. Maya ended the call and sat quietly for another minute. Some people thought power lived in loud voices, big offices, and sharp words. Maya knew power also lived in patience. In silence. In walking away at the right time. She stood up and started walking down the street. She did not rush. She did not look back. She had come to invest in a company. She had also learned something about the person leading it. And now she had a choice. Maya's phone buzzed again. A new message from Nina appeared on the screen. Quick update. You were right. Horizon Tech's expansion partner has been asking for new terms. They are not happy. Maya's steps slowed. That was important. She looked ahead at the busy street, then at the message again. A small moment in a meeting had now connected to something bigger. The company was already under pressure, and Laura did not seem to realize how close things were to breaking. Maya slipped her phone back into her pocket, her face calm, her mind sharp. Tomorrow, Laura would wake up to problems she could not solve with confidence alone. And Maya would decide whether Laura deserved a second chance, or whether the company needed a different path. The next morning began quietly for Maya, but the city around her was already awake. Sunlight entered her hotel room through thin curtains. She sat at a small table with her laptop open and a cup of warm tea beside her. She liked mornings like this. Clear, slow, and full of space to think. Her phone buzzed again. Another message from Nina. Morning update. Horizon Tech lost confirmation from one supplier late last night. No public news yet. Maya read the message twice. She did not smile. She did not feel satisfied. She felt focused. She typed back. Thank you. Keep monitoring. Do not reach out yet. Maya closed her laptop and stood near the window. From above, the city looked calm. From inside the glass building she visited yesterday, things were likely very different. At the same time, Laura sat at her office desk, staring at her screen. She had arrived early, hoping for a quiet start to the day. Instead, her inbox was full. Red flags appeared in subject lines. Missed calls showed on her phone. Her assistant, Paul, knocked gently and stepped in. Morning, Laura. The operations team is asking for an urgent meeting. Laura rubbed her forehead. About what? Paul hesitated. The supplier issue. And finance wants to talk about cash flow. Laura straightened her posture. Schedule them for later. I need time. Paul nodded and turned to leave, then paused. Also, the board chair sent a message. He wants an update today. Laura's jaw tightened. Of course he does. When Paul left, Laura leaned back and stared at the ceiling. She told herself this was normal. Growth came with stress. Pressure meant progress. That was the story she always believed. She opened the finance report again. The numbers were not terrible, but they were not safe. Everything depended on the expansion deal. Without it, timelines would slip. Promises would break. Her mind moved back to the meeting from yesterday. The calm woman. Maya. The questions she asked. The steady tone. The hand that waited in the air. Laura pushed the thought away. She did not want to analyze that moment. She did not want to feel anything about it. By mid-morning, the operations meeting started. The room filled with tense energy. Charts appeared on the screen. A manager explained delays. Another explained rising costs. Laura listened, arms crossed. We need the funding soon, the finance lead said carefully. If the expansion stalls, we will have to adjust hiring and production. How soon is soon? Laura asked. Within weeks, the finance lead replied. Days matter now. Laura nodded but said nothing. She dismissed the team and sat alone again. Her phone rang. She answered without checking the number. Laura, the voice said. This is Mark from the partner group. Laura straightened.
The feeling is
Mark,
mutual.
good
We
to
look forward
hear
to the
from you.
partnership.
I wish it was under better news, Mark said. There are concerns. What kind of concerns? Confidence concerns, Mark replied. Some investors are holding back. Laura felt a chill. Holding back why? There is a feeling that leadership decisions are rushed, that relationships are being mishandled. Laura gripped the phone tighter. Who is saying that? Mark paused. Several voices. Quiet ones. After the call ended, Laura sat still. Quiet voices were dangerous. Loud critics could be challenged. Quiet ones moved behind the scenes. Across town, Maya met with Nina at a small cafe. The place was simple. Wooden tables. Soft noise. No attention. Nina slid a folder across the table. Here is the updated picture. Expansion partner is uncertain. Supplier trust is shaky. 2 investors asked about your position. Maya opened the folder and reviewed the notes. Did you answer? I said you were evaluating, Nina said. Good. Nina leaned forward. Do you think Laura knows how serious this is? Maya looked out the window for a moment. I think she knows pressure. I am not sure she understands cause. Nina nodded. What is your move? Maya closed the folder. I wait. That afternoon, Laura's assistant knocked again. Laura, there is an email marked urgent. From Maya Reed. Laura froze for half a second. Read it. Paul cleared his throat. She requests a follow-up meeting. Today or tomorrow. She says timing matters. Laura felt a mix of irritation and relief. She has nerve, Laura said. Paul stayed quiet. Laura thought quickly. Pride told her to ignore it. Logic told her not to. Reply, Laura said. Tomorrow morning. First slot. Paul typed. Done. That evening, Laura stayed late. She reviewed notes, emails, and projections. The building emptied slowly. The lights outside her office stayed on. She replayed the meeting again. This time, she did not skip the end. She remembered the calm way Maya lowered her hand. The lack of anger. The lack of need. Laura felt something uncomfortable. Not guilt. Awareness. Meanwhile, Maya prepared quietly. She was not excited. She was not anxious. She wrote notes by hand, something she always did before important conversations. Writing helped her slow her thoughts. She listed 3 things. Respect. Structure. Sustainability. That was all she wanted to discuss. The next morning, Maya arrived at the building again. Same lobby. Same guard. Same elevator. This time, the receptionist greeted her with more warmth. Good morning, Ms. Reed. They are ready for you. Maya nodded and followed her. Inside the meeting room, Laura was already seated. She stood up when Maya entered. Thank you for coming back, Laura said. Thank you for asking, Maya replied. They sat across from each other again. The same table. The same light. But the air was different. Laura spoke first. I want to be direct. Things have shifted quickly. We may need to move faster than expected. Maya nodded. That happens when foundations are stretched. Laura did not argue. I reviewed your summary. You were right about some risks. Maya listened without reacting. I also reflected on our last meeting, Laura continued. Her voice was controlled, but softer. I was not at my best. Maya met her eyes. Acknowledging that matters. Laura took a breath. I am asking for a chance to reset this conversation. Maya paused before answering. I am willing to talk. But I need clarity. Laura leaned forward. What kind of clarity? About how you treat partners, Maya said. About whether you see input as threat or support. Laura was quiet for a moment. Then she spoke honestly. I built this company fighting. I am used to pushing back. Maya nodded. Fighting builds strength. Listening builds stability. Laura absorbed that. They talked for an hour. About numbers. About structure. About pacing growth. Maya asked direct questions. Laura answered more carefully than before. At the end, Maya closed her folder. I will not decide today, Maya said. But I will say this. Your company can survive this moment if leadership adjusts. Laura asked quietly. And if it does not? Maya replied gently. Then others will decide for you. After Maya left, Laura stayed in the room alone. She did not feel defeated. She felt exposed. Outside, Maya walked into the daylight again. Nina called her as she stepped onto the street. How did it go? It went honestly, Maya said. Is that good? It is necessary, Maya replied. By evening, messages began moving quietly through networks. Some investors paused. Some waited. Some leaned toward Maya's position. Laura felt it. Pressure tightened. Control slipped. She sent one final message late at night. Maya, thank you for today. I understand more than I did before. Maya read it and set the phone down. The final days before the board decision felt heavy for everyone involved. The air inside Horizon Tech had changed. Conversations were quieter. Smiles were careful. People sensed that something important was unfolding, even if they did not know all the details. Maya stayed calm. She worked from her hotel room and sometimes from quiet public spaces. She spoke with partners, reviewed updated reports, and listened more than she talked. She did not rush anyone. She allowed silence to do its work. Laura felt the silence more sharply. Each morning she walked into her office with a clear plan, and each afternoon that plan shifted. Emails arrived with careful words. Calls ended with polite pauses. The confidence she once carried easily now required effort. On the third morning, the board meeting was scheduled. Laura arrived early. She wore a simple suit and left her phone face down on the table. She wanted to focus. The board members joined one by one. Some greeted her warmly. Others nodded with reserved faces. Mark sat near the end of the table, hands folded. Laura began with an overview. She spoke clearly about the product, the market, and the challenges. This time, she did not rush. She did not hide weak points behind strong words. When questions came, she answered directly. When she did not know something, she said so. The room listened. Then Mark spoke. We need to address investor confidence, he said. Several groups are waiting for direction. Laura nodded. I understand. That is why I asked Maya Reed to join us today. There was a small shift in the room. Maya entered calmly a few minutes later. She greeted the board members politely and took a seat where she was invited. She did not bring slides. She brought notes. Laura looked at her briefly, then continued. Maya has reviewed our structure and risks. I asked her to share her perspective. Maya stood. She spoke in a steady voice. Thank you for the invitation. I will be brief. She explained her view clearly. She talked about long-term value, steady growth, and leadership alignment. She did not criticize. She described patterns and outcomes. The product is strong, Maya said. The team is skilled. The challenge is not talent. It is balance. She paused, then added, leadership sets the tone. Small choices shape trust. No one interrupted. When Maya finished, the room stayed quiet for a moment. Then one board member asked, would you support the company under revised terms? Maya answered, honestly, yes, if those terms reflect discipline and respect. Laura felt a weight lift and settle at the same time. After the meeting ended, the board requested time to deliberate. Maya stepped outside into the hallway. She stood near a window and watched the city below. She did not feel nervous. She felt ready. Laura joined her a few minutes later. They stood side by side without speaking. I did not know how to say this earlier, Laura said finally. But I am glad you came back. Maya nodded. I came because I saw potential. Laura looked at her. And the other day. That moment mattered, Maya said. But it did not define everything. Laura took a breath. I am learning. Maya gave a small smile. That is enough to start. Later that afternoon, the board decision was shared. Funding would move forward under new structure. Oversight would increase. Growth would slow slightly but strengthen. Laura accepted the terms. News spread quickly through the company. Some were surprised. Many felt relief. The future was not easy, but it was clearer. In the weeks that followed, changes took shape. Meetings became more open. Questions were welcomed. Laura listened more. She still led strongly, but with awareness. Maya joined as a strategic partner. She visited the office occasionally. She spoke with teams. She offered guidance without control. One afternoon, Laura invited Maya for coffee in the same building lobby where they first met. They sat at a small table near the window. I think about that first meeting often, Laura said. So do I, Maya replied. It was not the refusal, Laura said. It was what it revealed about me. Maya listened. I thought leadership meant standing firm, Laura continued. Now I see it also means standing open. Maya nodded. Growth works that way too. They sat quietly for a moment. Outside, people moved through the city, unaware of how small moments inside buildings could change paths. When they stood to leave, Laura extended her hand. Maya took it without hesitation. This time, the gesture felt natural. Maya walked out into the light. She felt no victory. She felt satisfaction. Respect had been restored. Balance had been found. The story did not end with applause or headlines. It ended with steady work, honest choices, and a future shaped by learning. And that was enough.